Hi, I'm Dr. Matt Levitt, the founder and director of Medical Hair Restoration. Hair loss is a problem that affects millions of men and women. This video will answer many of your questions about hair loss and hair transplantation. Our goal is for you to be fully informed of your options. After watching this video, you will have a thorough understanding of the procedure and be ready for the next step, a personal evaluation about your specific condition and what we can do for you. When I started this practice years ago, my goal was to consistently produce the finest hair transplant results possible. We've reached that goal, thanks to a lot of hard work by our experienced surgeons and staff. At Medical Hair Restoration, we are committed to excellence, honesty, and quality results that make you, our patient, happy. Thank you.
For many people, hair loss is a slow, agonizing process. It's usually first noticed as a thinning in the temple area or back of the head, and can proceed through various stages until, in extreme cases, only a horseshoe pattern of hair remains on the back and sides of the head. Women also experience hair loss, usually with thinning on the top of the head, though sometimes they have loss in the front, similar to a male pattern. There are many myths about the causes of hair loss. Research shows that wearing hats, excessive blow drying, or using the wrong shampoo do not cause typical baldness. In a majority of cases, this hair loss, or androgenetic alopecia by its medical term, is hereditary. Genetic coding makes certain follicles receptive to the hormone dihydrotestosterone, or DHT. The affected follicle begins to shrink, producing a thinner and shorter hair. Eventually, the hair may fall out and never regrow, and the area becomes bald. The myth that hair loss genes come only from the mother's side of the family is also not true. They can come from the father's side as well. If anyone in any generation of your family was bald, you could also be susceptible. Estimates are that 60 million American men and women suffer from some form of hair loss. This huge market has given birth to a thriving $3.5 billion industry. And the result is a wide, often confusing variety of products that tout themselves as solutions for baldness. The first thing someone usually tries is some sort of miracle shampoo or rub-on ointment that promises to grow back their hair. Despite the many lotions and potions on the market that say they will grow hair, there are currently only 2 substances approved by the FDA that have been clinically proven to do so: minoxidil, known as the trade name Rogaine, and finasteride, or Propecia as it's being marketed. Most Rogaine users get discouraged with its typical slow, very minimal hair growth results, which are usually only thin hairs on the back of the head, and the hassle of applying it daily. And if you ever stop using it, any hair you've grown from the treatment will fall out. Propecia can only be used by men. Like Rogaine, it grows only thin hairs on the back of the head for a percentage of users. It has not been proven to work on receding hairlines in the temple areas. Its best use seems to be in slowing down hair loss. You must take the drug as long as you desire its benefits. When you stop using it, any hair you've gained will fall out. Side effects of Propecia may include a loss of sexual drive. Studies on the possible long-term side effects of using the hormone-affecting drug are not complete. Toupees, wigs, or hair systems, as they are now marketed, are another available option. But for many, the worry of embarrassment or the idea of wearing something artificial are negative factors. Even those who choose to wear them can eventually become tired of their constant maintenance and expense. Over the past few years, there has been a tremendous growth in the number of people undergoing hair transplantation to solve their hair loss problem. It works this way. You've probably noticed that even on very bald men, the hair on the back and sides of the head does not fall out. That's because these follicles are not genetically programmed to be receptive to the follicle-shrinking hormone, DHT. Hair transplantation surgically removes excess portions of the patient's own hair from these zones, called the donor area, and transplants it to their balding or thinning places. The hair takes root and grows naturally again. These transplanted hair follicles keep their original genetic instructions, so they keep growing hair for a lifetime. Hair transplantation is a safe and proven procedure, having been performed by doctors since the 1950s. However, early techniques resulted in unsightly hairlines that resemble doll hair or rows of corn. But the latest breakthroughs in hair transplant science are giving patients natural-looking hairlines that are virtually undetectable to others. One of the leading medical practices developing and utilizing these new techniques is medical hair restoration. Its founder and medical director is Dr. Matt Levitt, an acknowledged authority on hair transplantation. His leadership and credentials in the medical and hair transplant profession are numerous, including Chairman of the World Association of Hair Restoration Surgeons and Vice President of the American Board of Hair Restoration Surgeons. Dr. Levitt's methods and techniques are renowned. He has written or been featured in many articles for major publications, has served as editor for hair transplant scientific journals, and also authored a chapter on hair transplant surgery for a medical textbook. Dr. Levitt has appeared on television and radio across the country, and he recently performed the first live television hair transplant on a national network. His international reputation for innovation and quality makes him in demand for lecture and seminar circuits. Doctors travel from other countries and all over the United States to learn his techniques.
Medical hair restoration has pioneered techniques on how to get the most natural-looking hairlines. We have utilized micrografts and mini-grafts in such a fashion that previously had not been utilized by many physicians. And the way that we combine and angle them has allowed our hairlines to be hairlines that are not detectable to anybody as far as being transplanted.
A great hair transplant is one that restores a youthful appearance and looks totally natural. The doctors at Medical Hair Restoration are able to achieve wonderful results like this by combining the medical science of transplantation with the art of a natural hairline. A strip of hair taken from the patient's donor area can contain hundreds of individual hair follicles. Medical Hair Restoration uses the latest breakthroughs in microsurgical techniques to divide the strip into units containing 1, 2, and as many as 3 to 5 hairs. These grafts, as they are called, are then inserted into the patient's bald or thinning areas at carefully planned locations. The single hair grafts are placed in the front to create a soft, natural-looking frontal hair zone. These hairs are placed at precise but varied angles, just like you see in a natural hairline. The 2 and 3 to 5 hair grafts are placed behind these, providing density and volume to cover large areas. The result is a restored, natural-appearing head of hair that almost no one can tell has been transplanted. The actual surgery is a minor outpatient procedure done under local anesthetic. It usually takes 3 to 4 hours, and many patients are able to go back to work the following day. After a brief resting period, the transplanted hair begins to grow again, filling in previously bald or thinning areas. You can cut it and style it any way you want because it's your own natural, healthy growing hair. And even though the hair follicles have been moved to a different part of the head, they keep their original genetic instructions, so they keep growing hair for a lifetime. It's a simple, relatively painless surgical procedure that results in a lifetime of benefits.
I don't think there's a female out there going through this that does not think about it every second of the day. They know they have to do something. I know I had to do something.
Now I'm very comfortable with the way I look. I feel very complete. So I think it's given me a lot of confidence, peace of mind, knowing that I look like everybody else.
It did change my attitude in my life. A lot of my friends, my family all contest to it. I mean, I was pretty happy. Everything was great for me. I was younger, athletic, girlfriends. And then it just felt at one time in my life that all left me. It all went away from me. And then just getting my hair back and the way they did it just brought that all back again. It just gave me a second lease on life.
The trim, the pitch of the roof, the gutters being clean.
Rob is a self-employed home inspector, running a successful company from his home for the past few years. He remembers when he first started noticing his hair loss.
I felt kind of wounded. I just felt that something was happening to me that I wasn't able to control. And it was just, I thought it was just making me just look not as good as I knew I could look. Because of the level that I do my business at, I'm meeting clients, bankers, traders, very successful people all the time. And I feel that a very strong appearance just solidifies my position with them. And you look just more professional when your appearance is better. I feel better. I look better than I have in years. I look as young as I feel. It's so simple. It's real, it's natural, and it's simple.
Joe is a tailor, specializing in custom suits and professional sports uniforms. He started losing his hair at 32 and remembers the feeling all too well.
I was starting to lose my hair in patches, which bothered me. And I kept on telling my wife, I says, if this doesn't stop, I'm just going to shave my head, cut it off, and carry a burr like I was a kid again. And it didn't stop. I'm a custom tailor, and I do handcrafted suits for men and women. You know, when I'm walking around with that $1,000, $1,200 suit, it just seemed like every time I looked in the mirror, I wasn't finished. And now with my hair, I feel like the product is finished. I don't have to wear the sprays anymore or gels. I can just come out of the shower, shake my head, take the brush to it, and go on to my appointments. What a great feeling.
Before I had the procedure, I was bald and getting balder. It seemed like almost by the day. I mean, I would look in the mirror and say, gosh, there go a few more.
Tonight on Sports 7, the city is abuzz about the Eagles-Bulldogs Conference Championship tomorrow. The story is
now,
here
when I look at my air checks and I have this full head of hair, I look good, I have a professional look about me. I mean, I have so much better opinion of myself when I look at my shots and when I anchor. It's just like night and day. And that, you know, when I go out in the field, it's important too, because I'm interviewing athletes. And, you know, we're all a little intimidated by famous athletes. And I need every bit of confidence I can get. Now, a year or two ago, when I was, you know, losing my hair, I wasn't as confident as I am now. But now, when I go up to these guys, I mean, I feel good about myself because I know I look professional. I know I look good. You wouldn't believe how much easier it is for me to do my job with a full head of hair than, you know, a year ago when I didn't have a full head of hair. It's just that kind of business.
Hair transplantation is a natural process. Just taking the hair that you do have that will never fall out and moving it to a place where you need it the most. And that's what really sold me on the whole process. It's something that will be with me the rest of my life.
I like the way it looks. I like the way it makes him feel. And when he feels good, I feel good.
And we could have spent the money, you know, on a car.
Or a vacation. But,
right.
But now we can have a vacation with hair.
I'm a partner in an accounting firm, and I constantly meet with existing clients, prospective new clients. I'm in a lot of business meetings with other financial people, attorneys, and appearance is very important to me. I feel if my appearance looks good, I'm going to feel better and have a lot more confidence when I'm with these people. I wanted to have something that was just totally natural and my own. I really didn't want to have a hairpiece or any of these other hair systems that are just, to me, they're very noticeable, very artificial looking, and I felt hair transplantation offered me, you know, my own hair, very naturally. No one has ever noticed that I have had a hair transplant. The few people that know are people that I have told, and some of them would just say to me, oh, you're kidding. And I really was hard-pressed to show them the hair that was transplanted. I can't even tell myself in most places anymore.
Medical hair restoration, one of the leading hair transplant practices in the world. Leadership, not only from the experience of performing thousands of transplant procedures, but from being a forerunner in hair transplant research, improved techniques, education, and from setting the standards for transplant excellence. The story of medical hair restoration's rise to prominence in the hair transplant field is tied to its founder and medical director, Dr. Matt Levitt. While attending medical school at Michigan State University, Dr. Levitt studied hair transplantation with several leading hair transplant surgeons and assisted on procedures during his dermatologic training. He went on to complete his residency in dermatology at Ohio University's Grandview Medical Center. Soon after opening a private dermatology practice in Orlando, Florida, Dr. Levitt decided to continue his work with hair transplantation because many of his patients were coming to him for help with their hair loss problems. He found it hard to recommend hair transplantation because of the poor quality work he had seen from other surgeons at that time. So he set a goal of developing something better to offer his patients.
Hair transplants, when I first started getting into them, to me were slightly barbaric. We could tell when people had hair transplantation. And it was my goal to create transplants that nobody ever knew that somebody had transplants.
It took several years of testing and refining the procedure before he was able to consistently produce the excellent natural results he was looking for.
My goal when I first started to do transplants was to create the most natural hair transplant possible. I wanted something that when you told somebody that you had a transplant, that they absolutely would not believe you had a transplant. And when you showed them your before picture, their mouth dropped open. Plain and simple, I wanted that type of result, and we've achieved it.
The growth of medical hair restoration from the dream of one doctor into a world-renowned surgical group comes from Dr. Levitt's compassion for people and drive for excellence, and the requirement that his doctors, nurses, and support staff hold the same standard. Dr. Levitt has personally selected each of the group's doctors and trained them extensively on his innovative techniques.
As the director of medical hair restoration, I've had the availability of top plastic surgeons and dermatologists to train. And amongst these doctors, we take those with the greatest surgical ability and those with the greatest natural artistic abilities, and then we require a year or more of training and at least 1,000 surgeries. This is more than most people will do in a lifetime who transplant, and we're requiring this in our training alone. It's necessary for the medical hair restoration physicians, and I believe for any physician, to have this type of experience before they start so that there's total consistency in their hair transplants, that every single hair transplant is one they can be proud of, one that looks natural, and one that makes the patient happy. Medical hair restoration is the only group practice in the world where every physician that performs hair restoration is board certified in hair restoration. The fact that the American Board of Hair Restoration Surgeons has certified each medical hair restoration doctor is a tremendous accomplishment.
The various surgeons that are in the group are of the highest quality, both from a professional but also from a personal point of view, and we are able to communicate well with one another, sharing new ideas, sharing techniques, and all of this helps each one of us to be a better surgeon and produce better results.
Dr. Levitt and his other doctors, I would say, are one. They have the same behavior, and that is to say they love their work, they are perfectionists, like, wow, it's amazing, so what can I say more? Huh?
The medical hair restoration group is very, very respected all over the world because they have, this is important, they have a scientific approach. And the scientific approach leads to perfection.
Perfection. That's a high standard to hold, but it's how you describe the work of medical hair restoration surgeons, especially their artistry in producing natural-looking frontal hairlines. This is the critical area of a transplant, and it's a big reason why patients from all over the world come to medical hair restoration physicians for their procedures.
Well, obviously I'm very happy with the result. I'm most pleased with the frontal hairline right here. No one has asked me if I've had a hair transplant. It's very natural looking. That was the part I was most concerned about too. So I couldn't be more pleased with the result I got.
Now I can wash my hair, towel dry it, and comb it, and be out of the house in 15 to 20 minutes tops. And before, where I'd spent at least an hour alone just trying to hide what the other doctors did. I'm ecstatic over it. It's really changed my lifestyle completely.
People go out of their way to tell me how great my hair looks. At a recent conference, I had people who previously have been very down on hair transplant surgery come up to me and say that it's the best work that they've ever seen.
Medical hair restoration's talented surgeons have earned their reputation because of quality results like this. Their personal and professional commitment to performing the finest in hair restoration procedures means their patients benefit.
I have recommended medical hair restoration to several of my friends and many of my clients. Well, I recommend it to them because I know what it's done for me. I think I look good. I think my results are terrific. And I'd like to let them know about it, and they can improve their appearance also.
The doctors and the nurses at Medical Hair Restoration are unique. I said they are the best. They take pride in their work, and I think that's hard to find nowadays.
I chose Medical Hair Restoration because I felt very confident in the work that they could do.
The total experience from Medical Hair Restoration was great. I'm so glad that I did what I did.
You're having your head and your appearance altered for life, and to go anywhere else would be nuts when you know that Medical Hair Restoration will do a great job. It looks good. Everything they tell you is accurate. It didn't hurt. I mean, I couldn't ask for anything better.
So, Tom, as I look
Once you have chosen to have hair transplantation, the next important decision you need to make is which doctor will perform your procedure. There are numerous factors that you will weigh while making that choice, such as office location, price, and even personalities. But the one critical element you must consider, the one thing that will help you make the right choice, is quality.
Quality is everything to the hair transplant patient. If this is done right, it will absolutely be one of the best things you ever did. It will make you feel that good. But if it's done poorly, it will make you feel equally bad because you'll be looking at it forever. So it's something that you have to do right the first time.
Transplanted hair grows for a lifetime. You'll see it every time you look in the mirror. How good it looks depends primarily on the talent and expertise of the surgery team you select to perform the procedure. So it's important to do your research and select an experienced, board-certified hair transplant surgeon, especially since more and more doctors, even dentists, are starting to do hair transplants on the side for extra income because of lower payments from managed care.
The problem with that is that many of these doctors will just go to a weekend course or a couple weekend courses and then begin practicing. They'll start advertising, put an ad in the paper, and they're really learning on the patient as they go. And this can lead to a very poor transplant or one that uses up a lot of donor unnecessarily.
Another reason to demand quality. There is only a limited quantity of your donor hair available. Each procedure you undergo uses up part of this supply, so it's important that the surgery is done right so none of the precious donor hair is wasted. But how can you be assured that a doctor will provide good quality transplant work? Here are some basic questions you should ask yourself before you decide on a physician for your surgery. is the doctor board certified in hair transplantation. The American Board of Hair Restoration Surgery was established in June of 1996 to set standards of accreditation for the hair transplantation specialty. It is the only board certification focusing on hair restoration surgery. While it is not a guarantee of quality work, the fact that a physician is hair transplant board certified assures you of a high level of competence.
To get board certification is not easy. There's a very difficult set of criteria even to take the exam. Then you have to pass a rigorous written exam and a rigorous oral examination.
Did I see plenty of before and after photos and video of actual patients? Any doctor can say they do good transplant work, but the proof of a physician's abilities can be verified by seeing photos of actual patients. The photos should be good quality that show close-ups of hairlines, which is where the hair meets the scalp. Also, make sure that there is both a before and after photo, and that they are of the same person. It's best to see examples of people with hair loss patterns similar to yours, and if possible, the same hair color and texture. Video is another way you can judge a surgeon's abilities. Look for real, believable, everyday people, and make sure they have a before photo on the screen that matches. Testimonials from patients should sound sincere, honest, and should not sound rehearsed. Do the results look natural?
When you're looking at videos and photographs, you first and foremost want to see something that looks natural. If it doesn't look natural to you, then you're probably not going to want to go to that physician.
Natural means you should not be able to tell the person has had a transplant. A natural transplanted hairline shouldn't look pluggy, like doll hair or rows of corn. The transplant should blend smoothly with the existing hair, and the density or thickness of the hair's appearance should be acceptable to you. Do all the hairlines look customized? Everyone's hair loss is different. The shape of your face, hair color and texture, future hair loss, and even budget are some of the factors considered as a good surgeon determines your surgical plan. If you see hairlines that are all the same in a physician's patient before and after photos, it could indicate that you may get cookie cutter style transplant work. This is a philosophy of hair restoration that gives everyone the same look because it's quicker and easier to do it that way.
One of the most frustrating things to me that's going on in hair restoration is that almost all physicians are trying to do every patient the same way. But every patient has different goals. They have different calibers of hair. Their color of their hair is different. The quantity or density of their hair is different. Their budget is different. Every patient has to have a customized approach. We have to ask the patient, what do they want? If this is realistic, then this is what we need to achieve.
Can I see actual patients? It's good to see photos and videos, but seeing an actual patient is even better. It's a good sign if a surgeon will make patients available for you to meet one-on-one. It means the doctor is confident about his work and doesn't mind you seeing a live example of it. Scheduling this is sometimes difficult, but it can pay off if you want to see results in person. Public seminars, such as ones put on by Medical Hair Restoration, are also a chance to meet transplant patients and see examples of a surgeon's work. It's also an opportunity to get many of your questions answered by a physician in an informal setting. What is the plan for my future hair loss? It's easy to be focused on how you want your appearance to look now, but remember, the hair that is moved will grow where it is placed for the rest of your life. It's important to ask the surgeon how his surgery plan takes into account how you will look 10, 20, or even 30 years down the road.
It's extremely important to have both a short-term game plan and a long-term plan. Although we don't have a crystal ball and we can't tell exactly how much hair somebody's going to lose, we certainly have a pretty good idea. We're able to wet the hair, look at it under surgical lighting with magnification, and see areas of miniaturization, which are quote-unquote future areas of loss. But we take a very conservative approach and make sure that we have donor for no matter where their hair loss ends up, so that we're able to take care of it.
Through the years, medical hair restoration has consulted with thousands of patients regarding hair loss and hair transplantation. There are several key questions that everyone seems to ask.
At what age should I start hair restoration?
I think it's very important for an individual, once their hair loss starts bothering them, unless they're below the age of 21, 22, once it starts bothering them, that they really come in and get a consultation, because the people who are often the very happiest are the people who continue to keep up with their hair loss. They, instead of being the ones who are counting hairs falling into the drain, they're watching the hair come in, and it gives them a lot of confidence. They stop worrying about their hair loss, they start enjoying their hair again, start enjoying life again.
Unless they are very bald, many patients at first are hesitant to start their hair restoration because they don't know where their hair loss will stop. But there is no certain age that hair loss stops, because everyone's pattern is unique and genetically determined. A personal consultation and examination can determine fairly accurately how your hair loss will progress and inform you of your options. It's important to know you don't have to be almost or completely bald to benefit from hair transplantation. Many patients start right away by filling in a receding hairline or other thinning areas. If their hair loss progresses, other procedures can be performed which further address the problem areas. The existing hair hides the transplant work while it heals. This allows a patient to maintain a youthful look even as their hair loss continues.
In other words, we go right in between the existing hairs and we put small hairs in between, and this allows for us to basically fill in an area before it's actually completely lost, and we're able to keep up with the hair loss this way.
What medical hair restoration has done for me, as far as creating a new hairline for me, was the doctor started in the center of the front here and brought the actual hairline down to what it is today. In doing so, it was a soft transition from what I was before to where I am today.
I knew I was going to lose all my hair, and I said to her, I ought to go in and get this done now, because I'm just starting to thin out. That way
nobody
will
notices
notice it. You know what I mean?
as
like
much.
if you're totally, like you lose all your hair and then all of a sudden you go in and you start getting hair, people notice.
Yeah,
but
it's a
if
lot
you,
more drastic.
So that was something we wanted to, get it done right away.
When I started thinning out in my early to mid 20s along my frontal hairline, I really wanted to do something to stop the recession before it really got noticeable.
Well, the hair loss bothered me because it didn't reflect the way I felt about myself inside. I felt young, I felt vibrant, and to look in the mirror and see somebody who was losing their hair wasn't something that I was comfortable about. And for me personally, it wasn't that extensive a surgery. It was just the kind of thing I felt like if I got started on it now, I could keep up with it and maintain a full head of hair into my older years and even into my 60s and 70s.
How much time will I have to take off work?
We encourage people to take time off from work only because we think it's going to be easier for them. We just feel that they're going to be more comfortable not having to go back to work the next day. However, a lot of our patients do go back to work the next day. Certainly most of the physicians, the attorneys, the type A personalities are right back at work.
Hair transplantation is a minor outpatient surgery. It is done under a local anesthetic and usually takes 3 to 4 hours. Just like any surgery, healing time, discomfort, and the body's response varies by individual. Most patients report little, if any, problems. Returning to work can be the next day for jobs requiring minimal physical activity. But if you do heavy labor, you should take a few days off to allow more complete healing.
What does the donor area look like after the procedure?
We're able to remove a strip of hair, usually less than a ½ centimeter in diameter, so it's very small. It can be up to 1 centimeter in diameter. And what we do is we take a strip of hair and then we suture the area shut. It's like having a little mold taken from your finger. If you take it off and then pinch the skin, there's nothing missing. So back here when we do that and we suture the skin shut, there's no perception that any hair has been removed in the back. We came up with a suture technique very different from what was standard in the industry that allowed us to get scars that, on the whole, are very microscopic scars, ones that are not easily visible with the eye. Even when we're looking, we lift the hair back, we're looking right at it, and it's still difficult to find.
How much does hair transplantation cost?
A lot of people are very intimidated by the potential cost of hair restoration, and this really cripples them from making a decision, which is really sad because they go on and they're very sad or they're very frustrated by their hair loss instead of understanding that this is something that can be done in a systematic way. It doesn't have to all be done at once.
The total cost of hair transplantation varies by patient, depending on the degree of hair loss and the result one wants to achieve. The minimum surgery procedure performed is around $3,000. Medical Hair Restoration accepts all major credit cards and can also direct you to several financing plans that are available. They want to make hair restoration affordable for everyone.
At Medical Hair Restoration, we're able to work with all budgets. And with the experience of the physicians, we're able to create something very aesthetic and make a patient feel very good, often with a very limited budget.
Can I get hair transplants and still wear my hair system?
One of the group of people that we do most often, that we perform hair surgery most often, are people who have been in a hairpiece or currently in a hairpiece. And it's very easy to work with hairpieces.
While your hair grows in, it's okay to wear a system over the transplanted area. However, it must be removed several times for minor post-operative care, so the attachment method must be one that is removed easily. Glues are not recommended. Some patients begin their hair restoration by focusing on recreating their frontal hairline with transplants and wearing their system behind it.
Slowly, as we did more hair transplantation, I was able to reduce the size of my hairpiece. And so I was gaining more of my own growing hair as the hair system was literally shrinking. And ultimately, about not quite a year ago, I was able to